Welcome to Martini Time. So, this has been a very interesting day. Tomorrow I have a colonoscopy, so after I have my martini and talk to you, I'm going to start drinking my cleansing fluid. I read the instructions, said today, don't eat anything, but just drink liquids. Didn't say not to. But it's been a very interesting day. I started off today having a great talk, and then I discovered that the Facebook Live went off, so the great talk was 3 seconds. But that led to a very interesting insight that I wanted to share with you. And I wrote about it all day. It's been kind of like running all day long, you know, at least in my experience, when I have an insight, an idea that brings things together. You know, in Zen, one of the most confusing things a master told a disciple was when he came to the master and he said, Master, what is enlightenment? And the master said, everyday mind. What? Well, I've got everyday mind, but I don't feel enlightened. What does that mean? So, enlightenment is everyday mind. And what is enlightenment but the ability or the to integrate upsets or surprises with your plan? Now this morning I had a plan. I'm going to give my talk, and I thought it was a good talk and everything, and then I found out it wasn't recorded. Surprise! So this is the way life goes. You have a plan, and there's a surprise. Something goes wrong. The best made plans of mice and men off go astray, you see. The plan goes astray. The surprise either was accident, you did it, somebody did it, fate did it, somebody did it. Your plan is screwed up, you see. I was going to barbecue and the rain came. Surprise! So what do you do with these surprises? Now there's fun surprises, birthday parties, Christmas, somebody comes to visit, surprise, you see, all that. Those are the good surprises. But then there are the bad surprises. Oh, my house burned down, surprise. I got cancer, surprise. You know, I go to colon tomorrow. I assume I have a clean colon, surprise. So what does the integrating mind do with this? The integrating mind integrates surprises with your broken plans, or a broken plan would be broken expectations, you see. A plan is an expectation, an intention for the world to go in this direction, for the train track to go in that direction. You know, surprise, the train got derailed. So, plans are made to be surprised. That's the fact of life. So how do we integrate that? How do we work with that, you see? So, the surprise, when it is given to the integrating mind, it just integrates the surprise with a new intention, with a new plan. But the new plan is going to be spontaneous. It's going to be created out of the marriage of the surprise and your dead plan. Boom. Mr. Bean, I love Mr. Bean, and he's always very wise, Mr. Bean. And one of the neat things about Mr. Bean is that he will self-destruct himself, create the destruction of what he really most cares about, but he'll take that destruction and rise out of it and find a new Mr. Bean. So Mr. Bean never dies. So this whole idea that it is the surprise that interrupts your expectation that is the marriage of creativity. And so a new idea, a new plan, A new reality spontaneously happens when you mix a surprise with a plan. See that? It's a really important realization. So then your surprise becomes the happy fault. The happy fault, you see. It was happy because the surprise is a match, your plan is the fuse, put them the plan is the wick, the surprise is the match, put them together, creates light, creates a new idea, an invention. How many inventions have been created when the scientist's plan got derailed or disrupted by a surprise? The surprise can come any way. It could be an accident. You can screw up and make a mistake. Somebody else can intervene. Nature can intervene, like lightning, something. But the surprise can come from any direction, and it will always be a surprise. It'll always be something that was outside of your plan, something that was outside of the assumptions that you created for your plan, something that is beyond the pale of expectations and rationality, and even the computer can't come up with a perfect plan. So all perfect plans are going to have a little crack, a little place where a surprise can come in. A little place where a little mouse hole where the mouse can come in and eat your plan, you see. So the surprise is going to get in there. You can't keep it out. And of course, our whole technology is based on the idea that you can keep out surprises. And it works to a certain degree. It's called control. So like airplanes, these giant things flying around up there. Used to be they crashed. But they kept working out the kinks. They kept working out the causes. Anytime an airplane causes, they find out what it was and fix it. So they've designed pretty good planes now. And same with cars. Used to be you drove anywhere, the road would be lined with cars broken down, and horrific accidents. I remember in the 70s, 60s and 70s, you had these car wrecks and bodies, no seatbelts, car full of kids, bodies thrown all over the street. Terrible accidents. Not so much anymore. So, we do successfully eliminate surprises. But it's like our whole culture is based on the desire to eliminate surprise. So everything will be just perfect. You go to other cultures and they incorporate surprises. India, and that's why people go to India as a spiritual journey, because you go to a culture there and there's very few regulations. They don't care about eliminating surprises. Life is, you accept surprises. You integrate the surprise into your life. You have a famine, you integrate it. You see, everything gets integrated. And this is the way the integrating mind works. It integrates everything. And there's going to be a surprise, but you just make a pearl out of it. You just accept it, and out of that acceptance, you find a single idea that transcends your plan and the surprise. You see? Your plan and the surprise are contradictions. When they come together, you're either going to say, oh, me, no, that damn, why did that son of a gun, and then go off on a rant and then try to remove the cause so it will never happen again. Which is like saying, if I removed all surprises, there would be no creativity again. You get the idea? If you took out all surprises and eliminated all surprises, you'd be in heaven. How boring will that be? There would be no surprises in heaven. It'd be like solitary confinement. No surprises there. Then people will make a surprise by just finding an ant and following the ant around, hoping for a surprise. So this whole idea of here's the thing. We don't want to eliminate good surprises like a birthday party. We just want to eliminate the bad surprises. But there's only surprise. So all surprises have the same function, which is creating a marriage of the surprise and your plans for a creative idea, which is the integration of upsets. So, and this is Zen, basically. Zen, if you look at it fundamentally, is you have a Zen cone, and it's a contradiction. And the master says, here's your cone, work on it. Here's your inconsistency. Here's your contradiction. Here's your logical incompatibility. Here's your dissonance. Here's your surprise. So now incorporate this surprise and create a new mind. Incorporate this surprise, this Zen cone, this puzzle, you see. So the poor disciple has got his expectations of getting the master's approval, getting enlightenment, and he's got this, it's called a white hot ball in the throat that you can't cough up or swallow. Or a more everyday mind would be a hairball. My cat just dumped one. So a hairball, you can't cough it up, you can't swallow it. Cats cough it up. But the hairball of Zen, the hairball of creativity, is the hairball of the incompatibility, the illogical contradiction of my logical plan, my perfect plan, and this illogical, unexpected, irrational surprise. How do I make this irrational surprise that doesn't fit any plan mate with and marry my plan that is now broken? I have no plan. So usually our reaction is anger. I've lost control. My plan is my control. The surprise took away my control. So I get it back by being angry at whatever caused the surprise. That's where anger comes from. Anger restores my control when I lose it. When I lose control because of some surprise, anger will restore it. It doesn't heal anything. It just creates more pain. But you feel powerful when you're angry. So, the anger then is an inability to incorporate the surprise into your mind, into your life, you see. So anger is failed integration of surprise, failed control. Anger is failed creativity. So creativity is when you integrate spontaneously the surprise and your plan. It's a spontaneous combustion. It's not like I will plan out a new idea. The new idea just like a firecracker, insight, idea, comes out of the destruction of your plan by some unexpected surprise. Isn't that interesting? I find it very interesting because it's so applicable to everyday mind. So in a way, that being able to integrate the unexpected surprise with your destroyed plan is enlightenment. Just a mini enlightenment. A light goes off. That's enlightenment. The light of a creative idea which is born out of two contradictions, a surprise and your plan, you see. So when you can do that, and it takes seeing, you have to really say, I really want to be interested in seeing how I react to surprises, whether it's poop on the floor or a spilled coffee, or I just broke my martini stir the other day. I had a really nice glass martini stir, and I just picked it up and it caught on something and fell to the floor and smashed, surprise. So life, everyday mind, is littered with surprises. So we can practice Zen or creative mind with the small things. Just the small thing is this poop on the floor, company's coming. How do you deal with it? Do you deal with it with laughter or embarrassment? You see? So laughter is a creative response to surprise, inconvenient surprise. Let's put it that way. Inconvenient surprise. One response is laughter. The other response is a creative idea. You see, they're both creative. Laughter and a creative idea, you see. But anger, blame, is the violent response, is the avoidance. You're avoiding your creative mind when you turn angry. You're avoiding love when you turn angry at the surprise. Blame, judgment, you see. That's an avoidance of your true nature. Your true nature is creativity. Your true nature is integration, not exclusion, inclusion. You include the surprise. You embrace it. You accept it, you see. And in that acceptance, a new idea, a new life, a laughter, a joy is born. A liberation. You laugh because you're liberated from the pain of the disappointment and the surprise. It's okay. You laugh. We'll build a new house. I'll get a new job. Right? And quite often we find that the surprise was the best thing that ever happened. Most often that is the case. Well, I would say it always is the case. Every surprise, every upset is the best thing that could happen. Unless we don't accept the surprise and it turns us into a bitter, angry, depressed person, then I could say, well, yeah, that was the worst thing that ever happened. But it wasn't the surprise that caused it, it was your reaction to it that caused it to be the worst thing, you see. It potentially is the best thing. So everything is potential. That's where quantum physics comes in. Schrodinger's cat became famous in the Big Bang. Because, let's go over that for a minute. Schrodinger's cat is a thought experiment of quantum physics to explain that the ground of reality is probability. So you have a cat in a box with a little radiation capsule that will break open at some indeterminate time. You have no idea when that capsule will break open. So that cat is both alive and dead until you open the box. So until you open the box and see whether it's alive or dead, it's going to be both alive and dead. It'll be probably alive or dead, you see. Potentially both. So, but when we perceive something, it becomes what we choose to perceive. So, a surprise happens to you and upsets your plan. If I choose, that's Schrodinger's box, is potential. If I choose to see it as a tragedy, a fault of somebody else or mine, or an upset, a wound that now I have to heal, a grievance, that's my perception. But it's also, at the same time, you see, potentially a creative opportunity. The best thing that ever happened to me. So the upset, the surprise, is potentially both. And it won't be real until I open the box and perceive it. So when a surprise happens to you, think of that. It's Schrodinger's cat. It's potentially the best thing or potentially the worst thing. You determine which one it's going to be by your conditioning. Now, if your conditioning is to see the worst, then you're going to see the worst. But if you are on a spiritual path, or you have the intention to realize your own potentiality, the potentiality of you, your true nature, if that is your intention, then things will start to change. And you'll notice when the surprise comes that you can say, oh, Schrodinger's cat, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? Am I going to let it be a tragedy? Or am I going to let it be a creative opportunity? What's it going to be? The potential is there, you see. But if I'm conditioned to see the worst, I'm just going to roll right over it. I open that box up, oh, damn, I'm screwed again. There's no space between the potential and the perception. But meditation, the spiritual practice, the intention to reverse this conditioning and see the positive instead of the negative, that intention will begin to deconstruct the conditioning that bulldozes over potentiality and turns it into a landfill or a wasteland, you see. So, you can't just do that overnight. You can't just wish it. You have to practice it. You have to practice with the poop on the floor, with the broken martini stirrer, with all the little upsets in the house, the little surprises. How do you deal with that? If you can laugh, if you can make lemonade out of the sour stuff, you know. If you can turn a colonoscopy into an adventure, you see. Hope he finds a minotaur in there. I'm going to give the doctor an Ariadne's thread, so when he goes in there, he can kill the minotaur and then follow the thread back out. The last doctor that gave me a colonoscopy is still in there. He never came out. So, anyway, I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to have to start my my regimen now. I have a jug of stuff to drink in 2 hours, and I expect I'll be busy for a while. I'll be so clean my farts will whistle Cole Porter songs. I'll see you in the morning before I go.